All right, cool. So I'll dive straight into it. And first, what I'll request all of you to do is to put your phones on or to put your phones on silent. And in case you have any questions, just raise your hand up or drop a message, and we'll take your questions accordingly. And just so that it's we can get through the conversation quickly. So first and foremost, I just want to welcome all of you to the group. And I just want to say that we're super excited to kick off this new kind of program and this new challenge and this new process of kind of reaching our goals with a little bit more accountability, with a little bit more support, and with a little bit more guidance when it comes to not just training, but also nutrition. We do have some of the team members joining us as well. So we've got Kiran, I believe we have Nazia, we have Uzma. So they're obviously part of the team. So they're also here, and they'll be here helping you throughout the 8 weeks with your goals as well. And I'll obviously be part of the team and doing these live sessions with everyone every weekend. As mentioned on the WhatsApp group that was created yesterday, we have dropped an email to all of you that have signed up. And in that email, I don't know if you guys have been able to access it or not, but in that email, you basically have 3 things which are very important to take note of. Number 1 is the Transformation Challenge Nutrition Guide document. Second is the sample meal plans that are there as a reference right now, which on week basis we will be developing on further. And the third is in the email, your accountability coach will be mentioned. So whoever your accountability coach is, they will be reaching out to you separately, and you will essentially be or should be reaching out to them when it comes to any day-to-day questions when you see them at the gym, or if you're not at the gym, then online, I suppose. So the coaches will be part of those accountability coaches from the team. Now, I'm going to first, today's talk is just an overview of what to expect and what's going to happen. I want to go over the nutrition guide just so that there's some clarity as to what is happening. And I want to touch a little bit about what the key deliverables for this, the first, I would say, week of this challenge is. So I don't know if, Musra, is it possible for you to share the nutrition guide on the screen?
Just 1 second, I'll do it.
Okay, so while they're doing that, I'll just start with the basic kind of overview. The problem that I've noticed is that nutrition is a subject which is, I think, overly complicated when it comes to reaching our goals. We tend to go into too much depth, and we tend to get confused by it when it comes to this whole micro business, the calories in, the calories out, going into specifics when it comes to dietary requirements, going into specifics when it comes to what should I eat before my workout, what should I eat after my workout, what should the window be, all of these things. There's so much information out there that even when we try to start, we get so overwhelmed by it that it leaves us blank, which is why the guide that you all have received in your email, what I've tried to do is that we've tried to make it as simple as possible for you to understand some of the important points and how to use this guide. So I'm just going to go over some of the basics that I would recommend you all to follow throughout these 8 weeks. The first 3 points, which are very important to remember, are to, right, so as you can see on the screen now, so if we move to page number 2, the most important thing that we have to remember is that we have to go at our own pace, and we don't have to overthink it, like I was saying. We have to remember that we are trying to commit for 8 weeks and not for 8 days, right? And Kiran, can you move it to page 2, please? So if we try to kind of look at 8 as 8 weeks, or just as a couple of 10 to 12 days, we will kind of crash and burn very quickly into this cycle. We have to look at it that we are committing to this for approximately 50 odd days, which is a significant time for most people to commit to some schedule and some, let's say, a new lifestyle change. So we have to make small but sustainable changes to our diets and to our lifestyles, so that they don't start feeling like a burden. The next thing is that when you're doing these Zoom calls, or your accountability coaches that you're assigned to, ask questions, right? Ask questions wherever you're not sure, wherever you don't know what to do, how to do it, it's getting too much or it's too complicated. Help us understand where you're struggling, so we can then come up with a solution for you. And the last one is what I started with, is that don't overthink it, right? We have to try to keep it as simple as possible from the start to the finish. And each week we're going to set up key deliverables, or things that we're going to try to commit to for that week. And week on week, the compounding effect is hopefully going to be helping you achieve a better lifestyle and helping you achieve your fitness goals. If we move to page number 3, that is this basic template that we have created, which we are going to try to use, or we can potentially use, to help you keep track of your calories and macros. Now, first we have to look at the table at the top, which is your daily requirement. Your daily requirement can be very easily calculated, and I've just dropped a link on WhatsApp, on the WhatsApp group, which if you open, you will be able to calculate your daily requirement fairly simply by inputting very basic information like your age, your gender, your weight, your height, your activity level, and you don't have to do the body fat percentage. It'll just calculate your TDEE, which is essentially the total daily energy expense, which is your your 5th column on the daily requirement. The reason I think everyone should this week do this or calculate this for yourselves is because we have to first understand how much are we expending in terms of energy on a daily basis, regardless of what we're trying to do in the next 8 weeks. Where do we stand today? We have to understand our base that we're starting with. If we don't know what our base is, we can't make adjustments moving forward, right? So, number 1 goal for this week is to fill out the first chart on this page, which is your daily requirement. So I want all of you to be filling this out and to calculate, like I said, the TDEE. I've already dropped a link on the WhatsApp group, which you can use to calculate that. Then comes your next template, which is your calories and macros. Right. Now, there are 3 options that you can see on the floor, which on the page, which is option A, B, and C. Option A is you have 1 meal a day and you have 1 snack or shake. I'm just saying shake because some people might just have a protein shake and consider it as a snack, right? That's one category of people. You might be in that category, or you might be someone that has 2 meals a day and 1 snack. Or you might be in the third option, which is someone like me, who is essentially having 3 meals a day with a snack or a shake, right? The reason why we have these 3 options is, again, This is going to be the second key deliverable for this week. The first thing we have to establish is that where we stand today, what is the total calorie intake in terms of our daily calories looking like right now, right? So whatever you guys eat, we're not going into what you're going to change, what we're going to update, what we're going to change. We have to know where do we stand today, okay? So you are all going to be responsible to be filling out both these charts this week with the help of your accountability coaches, with the help of the link that I've just shared on WhatsApp, and with the help of this app called MyFitnessPal. I'm going to go over it in a bit after I'm done with this nutrition guide. So checklist 1 complete. Just to move forward on this guideline further, I think it'll be good if you guys can read through this so that you guys can just get like a little bit of insight as to what are some of the important things that this guideline will teach you. It'll help you understand what serving sizes look like in each meal, what the structure can be. It'll help you record your calories like I just explained. And once we have those details in front, you will have a better understanding of how you go about your day when it comes to your nutrition intake. What will you do? So I've already explained that we're going to go over the MyFitnessPal thing and the tracking the calories through the link that I've just shared. If I move to page number 4, this is where I want you guys to pay a little bit of attention. Page number 4 highlights. Can we move down, please? Right. So what you will see in page number 4 of this document, or I think it's page number 5 actually, are the meals. So you've got a training meal and then you've got an anytime meal, right? So first, if I talk about your training meal, and the reason I'm talking about them separately is because I personally look at, to simplify things, I look at, let's say, my lunch as a training meal because I train after lunch, right? And I look at my dinner as an anytime meal or my breakfast as an anytime meal because I'm not doing the training anytime before or after it immediately. So just to put that into perspective, your training meal, this is the portion sizes that we, just to kind of keep it simple, right? So a palm of protein, 1 to 2 fists of vegetables, 2 palms of carbohydrates, 1 thumb of fat. We can go into detail about what carbohydrates mean, what protein means, what vegetables mean, and fats mean. We'll go into details about that, but that's your general kind of plate, what it looks like. To go over the text that's written, higher in carbohydrates and lower in fat, that's the general rule, because what you want is, you want energy for your body to perform the activity that's about to come up, right? And these meals are essentially fuel, like I just mentioned, to kind of help you recover from the session as well. They're higher in calories and carbohydrates, and they help you kind of, I guess, with your insulin levels, your glucose levels, and all of that jazz in your body. When it comes to your anytime meal, if you look at the difference between the plate sizes, the fat is what is higher. So instead of 1 thumb of fat, you're having a slightly higher intake of fats, and pretty much everything else remains the same. The reason why you want to keep your fats a bit higher is so that to improve digestion and to help you recover essentially all day, because, you know, fats can help you, good fats can help you stay fuller longer. And essentially all of this is leading towards a better recovery of the activity that you've just performed. Now, this was just a basic overview of what this nutrition guide has. I would recommend that you guys just read through it a bit more in detail. But as I mentioned, that page number 3 of this document, where we have the daily requirement and the calories and the macros, is what we have to figure out and full input the information in this week. Now, if if we open the next slide, the next attachment in the email, which is your samples and meal plans. So this will be the other document attached to the email. Does anyone have any questions till now?
Hey, BT, Hiba here. I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So I normally work out in the morning before I go to work. That's around like 9 a.m., 8:30 a.m. my time. And what ends up happening is that I wake up, get ready for the gym, and just go. So with that kind of schedule, like what would my training meal be?
Right. That's a cool question. So I'm gonna
2-3 weeks तो होता है मेन तो ये है कि उसमें चीजें निकल जाएंगी इंशाल्लाह ये रिविजन डिफिकल्ट पीरियड थोड़ा
Hello.
सेटल हो जाएगा
I think someone's mic might be on.
Yeah, mic is right. So Hiba, that's a cool question. I'm just going to come back to it because there are several people that probably are in the same scenario who do the morning classes with us. So I'll come back to this question after I've gone through these slides. And what I'm going to explain now might help you kind of gain a little bit more understanding of or get an answer to your question as well. Right, so these templates, guys, this is the other attachment in your email that you're going to, you will have. Now, what we've done is that we've also dissected a little bit more into detail of what training, pre-training and post-training meals can look like or be, right? These are just basic examples. And like I said, with your accountability coaches on a week-to-week basis, you can either use the same examples or you can come up with your own examples as well, right? So let's talk about each of the slide, or I'll go over 2 to 3 slides, not every slide. So the first one being your pre-training one, which is half an hour to an hour before that you can have, right? So Hiba, this is again coming to you. So piece of fruit, toast with jam, fruit smoothie, right? So the reason why these can make sense is because these are quickly dissolvable in your system, right? These are simple carbs, right? The fat is low, like we just discovered that we don't have to have a very high fat meal before training. And the fiber content is generally higher in these kind of foods, right? So what they will give you is they will give you like instant kind of energy boost, because the sugar levels are higher in this kind of food. The carbs are simple, so they'll digest quickly, and you will essentially feel fueled to kind of sustain through a training session. Another example of this would be, but these, so if you look at the next one, which is your pre-training 1 to 2 hours, right? These are the reason why the timings are longer than the previous one is because, as you can see, the meals are a bit more extensive, right? So there is scrambled eggs on toast, let's say pancake with 1 egg or 2 egg whites, right? Boiled eggs with cereal, right? So if I have more than an hour to spare before my training session, what I want is I want a little bit more protein in my system. I want a little bit more carbs and a little bit of fat to sustain through not just that training session that's going to happen, but because I know I have time to digest this food in my body before I go to the training system, I can kind of uptake my, I can increase my meal size and meal composition essentially. Moving forward, if I go to like, let's say another example of, let's take post training between 20 to 30 minutes, right? So if we move down, yeah, there we go. Right. So if you look at the post training slide, which is 20 to 30 minutes, or let's look at the 1.5 to 3 hour slide, right? So post training for me, like I mentioned, would most likely be dinner, right? So I've trained at my training ended at 6 p.m. My dinner is going to be around about at, let's say, 9 p.m., right? Which is cutting it really close to the 3 hour window. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a nice balanced meal, which is going to, like we discussed in the nutrition guide, there's going to be an element of protein in there, which some examples are, let's say, minced meat, or this is just a fancy way of saying keema with salad and chapati, right? That's a good balanced meal. There's nothing over the top. This is a regular kind of meal that most houses in Pakistan at least have. And when it comes to the chapati, it's like, usually, I mean, I would recommend go for the brown atta, or whatever you want to call it, but rather than kind of just white atta. And then you've got your side salad. Now, side salad can be experimented in whatever way you want. And minced meat is, again, whether it's chicken, beef, whatever it is, there's protein, there's carbs, there's fats, and there's vegetables, right? So it's a nice, full mixed meal. You can go into details about how is the minced meat cooked, right? Is it cooked in olive oil? Is it cooked in desi ghee? These should be the preferred fats that we should use. But, avoid stuff like canola oil or sunflower oil. We all know this, right? This is not rocket science, that these are not good fats or good oils to make your food in. If I look at, so again, both these slides are very interesting, right? So there's the post-training, which is 20 to 30 minute window, and then there's the 1.5 to 3 hour window. Let's say, keeping my example in mind, I finish my training session at 5. I will have my protein shake. I will have my protein shake at 6. I finish my session at 6. Now, I have fueled my body with something, right? The protein is high, the carbs are high, but the fat isn't that high, right? So that's the kind of mix, because I want this to kind of go and quickly dissolve into the body. I don't want my body to take too much time to break this meal down, right? I want it to quickly dissolve it. So this is a more liquid-based diet. But then the post-training, which is the 3 hour window, can be like a proper balanced meal. So I'm not going to go into all the 10 slides. I want all of you to kind of just skim through it at your own time, today, tomorrow, and then when you come on Monday, or whenever you are kind of available, you can reach out to your accountability coach with your questions about these slides in particular. And like I said, these are just very sample meals. These you can discuss and tweak and change with your accountability coaches as you go, and we will be doing it on a week-to-week basis on these calls as well. All right, cool. So now let's talk about this week's goals. Number 1, I want everybody to download this app called MyFitnessPal. That's number 1. Number 2 is that I want all of you, whether you can figure it out on your own or with the help of your accountability coaches, log consistently all of this week. Don't change what you're doing, right? You can change it based on the information that we've shared in the email today, but I don't want anyone to do some radical change to what you're doing already. I just want you to consistently log all of your week, because the reason for that is that, like I shared in the nutrition guide, what that will do is it'll help us set a base level, a baseline of the calories that you're consuming, the macros that your body is currently consuming, and what you're burning without taking any radical steps, right? So that's that. Calculate your expenditure based on the link I've just dropped on the WhatsApp group. and we have to fill out, like I said, the nutrition guide. Once we have this information established this week, right? Then what we will do is we will use this data to then go into the next steps of what these calories that are coming into our body and how much are they going out, and what change we need to make in order for us to better, to improve the calorie intake and to help us reach our transformation challenges goal, which is to pack on lean muscle and shred fat. So download MyFitnessPal, log consistently, calculate your energy expenditure, and fill out the nutrition guide template. And then obviously use the help of your accountability coaches if you are unsure how to log, how to fill out the sheet, and just any kind of confusions along the way. So that's the basic information. I'm going to open the floor now for any questions and answers for the next 10 minutes, and then we can move forward to actions. Any questions? Go for it.
Could you explain the logistics of how we're gonna get access to the workouts, and like what schedule you have in mind for us? Is it 5 days a week? Do we do it at our own pace? Like just
Okay,
the
cool.
logistics, I guess.
Yeah, so I think you're because you're doing it remote, I believe you do get access to the workouts on for the entire week, which you'll get through the website. And when it comes to your accountability coach, or when it comes to the nutrition questions and all that, because you're remote, I believe your email will tell you who your accountability coach is. So they will reach out to you online, which is going to be WhatsApp, and then whatever questions you have about the weekly nutrition, let's say targets and goals, you'll be able to discuss that with them. And then obviously, when it comes to the questions about the workouts, I believe you can always ask us on Instagram or email as well, if you have any questions about it. But the week-on-week progression of the workouts will be updated every Saturday for the entire week of the workout.
Got it. Thank you.
Right. Anyone else? Any questions? We have a few people on call. So guys, you're welcome to kind of ask.
I have a question.
Yes, Eamon.
Okay, so for someone like me who just has like one meal a day, so what should my plate look like?
Right. So this is, again, this is something, what you have to first understand is what your meal, that's why you have to fill that information out. Whatever your meal looks like right now, don't change it. First, just input the information of what you're eating, right? We have to understand where you currently stand in order for us to help make the changes. So your meal, your plate right now, first you need to help us understand how much protein you're actually eating that meal, and what's the total calorie count that you actually, right? Then what we can do once we have that information, then we can advise better that what changes you can make in order to improve your plate and in order to upgrade the calories that you're intaking and kind of exerting.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. Cool.
Right.
Hey,
Anyone else? Yes.
Bilal, the link that you have for this calorie expenditure, where are you getting that from?
Where am I getting the link from?
Yeah, so I mean, MyFitnessPal has a different calculator, I guess. Is this MyFitnessPal or is this different?
No, this is different. So MyFitnessPal, you're correct. MyFitnessPal also has, but I shared this link because some people might not you do that through that app because, to understand that app.
Have
I
you
also want
used
to add
this?
to that, sorry, MyFitnessPal's calculator is a bit generic, so it doesn't actually calculate the right amount of calories from past experience. So this one that BT has given is a bit more precise. So MyFitnessPal has a bit of a generic calculation.
Okay, because it's giving a significantly higher calorie count than what my usual requirement is, even if I dial down my exercise level.
So the exercise level, where we kind of miscalculate that is the activity level that normally people opt for. The highest one is for somebody. You know how you track 1 to 5? So the 5 is basically for somebody who does like manual labor. So for people like us who work out like 4 to 5 times a week, we come in the sedentary like second or third category, not 5. So if you choose that correctly, then you will be able to get a better idea of what your accurate calories will be.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Right. So just to put that into further perspective, Harsher. So when I filled out using this form, this link, the calories burnt every day that they were showing was around 2,200. The total daily energy expenditure. And I used the moderate exercise thing, the option.
Okay,
So,
all right, because I'm getting around 2450.
Yeah, so mine shows 2,300 per
Right,
day.
yeah. I start gaining weight when I use that much. Okay, all right, thanks.
All right. All right. Any other questions? Someone dropped a message, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Abdullah dropped a message.
What will the intensity of the workouts for the online clients? What are the macros and calories that need to be added on the MyFitness or Shell? Okay, so right. So the intensity of the workouts for the online clients. So the intensity of the workouts or the workouts that people that are doing this remote or with us in class is the same in the sense that the workouts remain the same. The intensity can always be tweaked based on your own kind of level, right? So for example, if you are recommended to do 6 to 10 repetitions and you've been given this range and you decide to go with 10 reps versus the next person that's not feeling that energetic tries to go with 6 reps, they are probably exerting a bit less based on how they feel the certain day. Or for example, if you, Abdullah, are new to the whole system and new to the whole program, then you might need to adjust week on week to see what you can do to just start, right? So the intensity, you as a remote coach, remote client will have to adjust week on week based on how you're feeling. Unfortunately, because you're not there with us in person, we can't really do that in a class with you. But what we can do is that we always welcome feedback. So when you come to these weekly calls on a week-to-week basis, ask questions about the workout and how you're feeling and what your experience was about the intensity, and then maybe we can give you some recommendations. Or the accountability coach that has been mentioned for you, you should kind of give them feedback and ask them for any adjustments in terms of movements or reps or weights. If you feel like something is too intense or it's not intense, it can go either or, right? So number one, when it comes to the macros and the calories, right? When it comes to the macros and the calories, this is precisely what we are recommending for this week. Input the meals that you have on MyFitnessPal regularly for this week. What that will do is MyFitnessPal automatically will tell you how much protein, how much fat, how much carbs, how much calories you're consuming on a day-to-day basis. When we have this week's information in front of us, then we will be able to make the changes week on week we want to make to reduce the calories or to improve the calories that we are inserting into our bodies so that the bodies perform better and we are able to lose fat faster. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up or just say yes or, I don't know, wink at me.
Yes.
All right, cool. Right. Any other question? Last question, guys. One more question, and then we're gonna have to say goodbye.
Okay, hello Bilal, Imran here. I have a question. So, so I was wondering, like, do we get a baseline of like tests done? Like, weight is something that we can, measure very easily. So, at the end of 8 weeks, is it advisable to get like a body composition test done or something like that, so that we have the data in front of us and we can see where we are at the end of 8 days? And will that play detrimental, like, like if I get a body composition done before I start and sometime in the middle and sometime at the end, is that something like, do we need to be that specific? Because my weight has remained the same for the past 4 or 5 years, but my body composition has changed drastically. So that was something I was wondering if you are targeting with this transformation.
Fantastic question. Whoa, we're just gonna ask you to take your shirt off. We're gonna take a picture of you.
Hard pass.
I'm joking. Kiran, do you wanna answer this question, because I know that you've got some we've got some metrics in place that are going to be used.
So other than weight, you can obviously test your body composition as well. That is one factor, but a more realistic factor would be that you do your measurements, you take weekly pictures, and basically your progress in the gym will also be a factor, right? So just because I know that weight is something that will not change for a lot of people because of the nature of the workouts that we do and the nature of our lifestyle. So yes, a more accurate measure would be that you take your measurements on a bi-monthly basis, bi-monthly basis, and you take pictures on a weekly basis. So that will give you a better idea of how you are progressing. And I would also recommend that you check your weight every day, if that is a factor that you want to do. So don't just randomly check your weight like one day and then after 20 days. Keep a track of your weight, keep checking it every single day, and then the average of the week will basically determine if there has been any change or not. If your weight does not change, then you might want to reduce your calories a little bit, or add more protein and reduce carbs and fat.
Right. One thing I want to add here to Kiran's point is that not just that, in this challenge, the workouts will be different to what you've been doing as well. We'll be doing a lot of drop sets, supersets, trisets. But not just that, we do pulsing reps. So we'll be doing a lot of these movements that are and the goal is to help you change your body composition. But at the same time, the only way, yes, visually sometimes because we see ourselves every day in the mirror, so we can't tell. So one of the best things that I'm gonna do, and maybe you guys want to join that as well, is do your weekly pictures. Weighing scale, I'm not a big fan of that, but if you're okay with it, do it. But essentially it's that week on week progression when it comes to the picture, weekly progression of how the body compositions change. That is something that and as far as the tests are concerned, I know that there are online fancy machines that help your body fat, your BMR, all of these things. I'm not sure who is doing these anymore, because I know Shapes did it, but their machine's broken. I know that there's some Zoe nutritionist that did it. Her machine's also broken. So I have reached out to these people, but they said their machines aren't working. If anyone from this group actually does find out anyone that does these measurements for them, or some machine that calculates it, please share it, and maybe that's something we can also add to this, let's say, the accountability of the progress. Right, Imran, I hope that answered some level of your question.
Yes, thanks, Bilal.
Right, just to recap, guys, before we say goodbye, what are we going to do? Download MyFitness app. Number one, log on the app consistently so that we can see how much fluctuation is happening on a day-to-day basis with your meals in terms of calories, macros, micros, all of that. Number three, calculate your energy expense so that we know what is coming in versus what is going out right now as we stand without making any changes except the new training that we're going to be starting on Monday. And number four, start or get accustomed with your accountability coach to do all the steps that I've just explained above so that you are in line for a better adjustment when we make it to your, or when we suggest in terms of your calories and your meals for next week. That's all for today. If you want to go over the discussion we've just had, we're going to upload this video on our YouTube channel and drop it on the WhatsApp group as well. See you guys on Monday. Thank you very much for your time.